Hi there, I'm Steve Knutson, and today I'm going to demonstrate to you a few tips and tricks for people that are page authors in SharePoint Online. So a SharePoint page is one of the basic building blocks for any content. So it's a good place, and it's sort of a canvas where you can add different web parts and so on. So from any page, whether it's a communication site or a team site, if you have sufficient permission, so contribute or better, then you'll get the options to add a page. So from the new button here, I'm going to go add a page. And I'll show you a few things on here. These templates here are ones which I've created myself. You can also use the Microsoft built-in ones, but you have this option down the bottom down here for creating a private draft. I'm going to start with a blank template and create a page. So the first thing that you'll notice when we create this blank page is that we have this canvas that appears, and it has a few default settings on it. So it has a banner image, header area at the top here, where we can put our page name in. So I might call this one here like leave application. Whoops, leave application. And you'll notice that when I do that, the URL at the top here will change to the name of the file that we use here. So thinking about your naming of things is quite important. The next thing we can do is edit this header area. I'm going to choose the little pencil, and we get different layout types that we can use. I like this one here, where we've got the image at the top like this, or this large color block one here where we have our image out like this. So we get a bit more space to work, view the photo. I can then choose an image, and I can choose from stock images, or if I've got an organization asset library, it will show it'll show on this list here as well, or upload one, but it's quick and easy to get something from our library here. So let's just choose this one here and see what happens. I'm going to add the picture in. Now you'll see our cow is not quite lined up on the page properly, so I'm just going to use the focal option here to change this position a wee bit around on the page. That makes it a little bit more happy. And now, of course, the obvious thing here that you've got is you're like, why has it got a cow associated with the leave application? Well, maybe I want to go work on the farm for the weekend with my dad. So maybe that's what I'm doing here. On the right-hand side over here, we can also do things like show the published date on and off on the underneath the title area there. And we can also say whether we want to whether we want to actually show the author details here. I can click there if I want to get rid of the author out of that box. Now, the next thing that we can do on this page is that we can go down here and start adding some content. So I've got a wee bit of content that I created earlier. It doesn't actually relate to this topic, but the purpose of this is just to add a blob of text in. So there we go. We've added that into the box, and we can do things like putting in a heading in here. So heading text. We can change the heading text size to a heading, and we can add it in and so on like this. Now, one of the really cool things about SharePoint now is that you can drag and drop or cut and paste images into the screen here. So if I just use an image that I've created earlier, so I'm just going to grab a wee snip of our cow and I'm going to pop that onto the page, into the page. So I want to put that in line here. So I'm going to put that text down like that, and I can just Control V and paste the image in line into the item, and I can position it on the page here as well. So that copy paste feature is quite good. It's quite allows you to quickly get images in without having to upload to your image library and so on. You can also you'll see on the formatting bar here do all kinds of formatting. If you're working on something you want to highlight it for later, you can go like that and highlight the text as well. So you've got these sorts of features. Now, another thing that you might want to think about with your page is actually the layout itself. So you'll see this is a single column width layout. We can also edit the section and change our section layouts here, and you'll see that we have different types. So if I, for example, choose this one, you'll see it's pushed the text across to the side and left me with another section over here. And then what I can do is I could take something like this web part here and duplicate that web part. So now I've duplicated it. I've got it down below here. I'm going to then move it across to the other side. And just to make sure it's not the same, I'm going to do something different. So just to highlight this text here. Yeah, this could be any text, of course. So what I'm going to do here is just show you that you can take and reuse web parts too. So you can copy a web part and repurpose it onto the page if you're wanting to position things around, or you can just drag them using the move the web part feature here, which lets you drag that text above like that. So I'll put it back over where we were, because what I'm going to actually do over here is I'm going to do something different with our text and say, so leave application details, leave applications must be in 1 week before leave is taken. Now that might not be true for your organization. I'm just doing this as an example here, and I'm not going to change the text style on this. So if I have this option here called pulled quote, now that looks quite good. If I go and publish my page, so you'll see this option up top here, this makes the page available. I can either save as a draft and view, or I can go back into my page here and I can edit. And if I edit that page again, and I'm back in my draft, I can now move these things around. So if I want that text there on the left-hand side, so I'm going to move that web part, and then I'm going to take the one, move that one to here, and then the one below it, I'm going to move to the right. And then I'm going to change my section layout and choose a 1/3, 2/3 layout so that text fits on the side over here. And then below that, I'm going to add a people web part. People web part, I'm going to put myself in here. And then this is a good way to make it, give people access to the people that are working on that page or for further information. And now on my page, when I go and save that draft version of the page and look at it, it looks kind of like this. So that's quite interesting. You'll see this you may be interested content down here in the comments option. So let's go back and edit the page here. So the you might be interested content is on. If I turn that to off and the comments to off, then people can't comment on the page. But this you may also be interested in. We'll try and bring up related content onto the page. So I'll do that. Now one more option that you might be interested in is what's called a vertical section. So I've just got to edit the page again. Go over to our sections. Now you can only do this at the top section here. We have two section types. One's called a vertical section and one is called a full width section. If I add a full width section, you'll see it limits the types of web parts that I can put on the page, but it includes an image web part, hero, and the countdown timer, as well as the PMP web parts. So things like the modern script editor, for example, can be used in this area if you want to customize the header of that page, perhaps with some HTML or some JavaScript. Then you could use the modern script editor web part and insert that in the top if you've got that available in your site. I won't use this one here today. What I'll do instead is I'm going to use the vertical section. So the vertical section pops a section on the right-hand side of our page over here, and I'll just change its color so that it stands out. And that section now is on the right. I can then take something like this web part and move it across to there. And then perhaps what I'm going to also do on here is perhaps add some quick links. And you could do, for example, quick links to have links to things like perhaps the leave policy. So I'm just going to go add a link, and I'm just going to go from something that we all know. This would actually, in the reality, be a link to your policy document. So it can be any hyperlink. But what I'm going to do there is just add that link in. I can change the icon if I want to use it or use a custom image. I'm just going to change the icon, and I'm just going to go into here and go, whoops, back to my icon. Sorry, clicking a bit quick. Clicking on there, and I'm going to search for. It's really weird. My mouse is doing something funky here. Policy. So if I just go search for policy, you'll see it's got a kind of a document there. That's good enough. I'll select that document, and then I am going to just click out of there. And now I've got on my page, if I save this as a draft, you'll see I've now got this link up here, but it's got Google as the title. So I'm going to click back onto it, edit that particular one there, and go leave policy. And then we can change also. So now you'll see it's changed the label down here, but we can also change the layout of this web part. So I'm just going to go for tiles. I'm going to add a nice big button, and then I'm going to publish my page. So publishing the page makes it available for other people to see. So now that page is all ready. So there's a few tips on how to create the page. A couple of other things that you might be interested in knowing is one is about page detail. So if I go into the page detail option here, you'll see that down on the side down here, I can do things like change the name of the file. So I can click into here if I don't want that. If I want that to also match, so HR 102, which might be a policy document, then I can put that on there as a reference, perhaps. I can set a label on here. I can audience target the page. So if I want this page only to be show for managers, for example, and I can also delete the page down here. You'll see it's also got a few other features in here, such as our description. This description text, you can edit this description text if you're having this roll up in different places. And one last little thing that you can do in here is that you can then go and save this page as a template. So if you want to save the page as a template so that you have consistent looking pages, then that's where you go to. And the next time you go File New, you'll see that template showing up at the top of the new page dialog box. So that's a quick demo of publishing pages within SharePoint. And hopefully this has been useful. Please stay tuned for more. I'll probably do a few more in the series on intranet type topics over the next few weeks.